Yes guys, welcome in, and we're going to be playing the Stanley Parables. Let's get this music off. And let's get the game going.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Right.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all. Just as but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten. You didn't think.
You're on out.
That was actually just a recording.
You're on,
did you?
Ali.
What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you
Yeah.
and me, all the absurd adventures we've
Yeah.
been through, and it all turns out I'm just a
Hello,
tape
hello,
recording.
Mike. Fucking. Yo.
Yeah.
You're on, Ali.
It was all just in Stanley's
Yeah,
head.
moments ago.
I bet